All right, we should be live. Welcome everybody. Hope you're doing well. I'll just give the chat a few minutes to get going here. Now, hopefully everything's working. I've got my live streamer set up and ready to rock and roll. So we're going to be going live at least once every 10 days or so now, which will be the plan. So if you've got any comments or questions, let us know. We're going to talk a little bit about my pedal board setup and also about some of the live stuff I've been doing and what I plan on doing moving forward, because there's some cool stuff coming up. I've also got a whole bunch of really cool demos coming up as well, and reviews, pros and cons, all that kind of stuff, so stay tuned for that. Firstly though, thank you everyone who supports the channel, Patreon crew, channel members, everybody, and Chopper. Welcome mate, first in. Awesome stuff, hope you're doing well, thanks for dropping by. Let us know if the audio is all good. I've got no way of monitoring it other than just seeing a little icon flash around here, so hopefully we're all good. All right, it's looking good here. We've got Jamal as well. Welcome, mate. Happy birthday. I won't give away the birthday day of the actual number, but it's a big birthday, so happy birthday, mate. I'm not far behind you, I realize now. So, yeah, hope you're doing well, man. Ozhood Guitar, how you doing, man? Nice to see you. I don't know if I recognize your name, but welcome to the live stream. We're taking some questions. We're going to talk a little bit about what's coming up, some pedal board changes and modifications, all that kind of stuff. We've got NAMMThraxx. Welcome, mate. Do you make guitars or amps? I'm not sure. Could be either. Could be both. I don't know. Let us know. All right, audio is fine. All right, thanks, mate. I appreciate that. I'm just going to get over to... All right, this is better. So I've got two lists of... I've got the all and the top chat. So here we go. So this should be good. We got Neuroplastic Guitar. Welcome, mate. There's some interesting names in the chat tonight. Very sort of interesting ones. Different. All right. Jamal's having a laugh there. That's awesome. Peter Hall, how you doing, mate? Thanks for dropping by. All right. We got Ian here as well. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for dropping in. KSY says, did you check out any new gear from NAMM 24? You know what? I might be the only guitar player in the world who's watched no videos. I've seen some posts go up on Instagram, but yeah, I haven't. I've actually been too busy doing other stuff, so I'll probably get a good look at some of those videos at some point, but yeah, I haven't really been paying too much attention to it. I just follow I follow a lot of the manufacturers on Instagram, and that's usually enough to see a lot about what's going on without sort of watching the videos. I hope to get there next year. I've been saying that for a while and I've not done it. So if it can work out where I can get over there and shoot something interesting or different, I'll do that coming up. So yeah, I haven't. If anyone's seen something that really excites you in terms of gear or whatever, just let us know. Because yeah, I'm a bit out of the loop with it because... yeah, I've been filming again a lot, so you'll start to see more videos coming up again. I'm refreshed and ready to rock and roll. All right, so NAMMThraxx makes pedals. Very cool. I made 3 pedals in my entire time playing guitar, and it's a big job. I don't think people know exactly what goes into it. It was a massive learning curve and a lot of work. So you get a sore neck working like this all the time. All right, we got Marco from Slovenia, small but beautiful country in between Vienna and Venice. Very cool. You know, I've heard of that. I didn't know where it was, so thanks for the lesson there. That's great. Thoughts on Fender Mustang guitars? Yeah, I got asked this, I think, last time we went live, and I don't think they're not my favorite guitar in the world. There's nothing necessarily wrong with them. I just feel like I think it's the scale length or something feels a bit out for me, so all the bends feel a bit foreign. I'm so used to playing tallies and strats or scale lengths like that, or maybe it's the bridge. I'm not exactly sure, but the Mustangs feel a little bit different to me just in terms of feel. But, you know, it's definitely a great looking guitar, and it suits certain styles of music more than obviously a tally or a strat does. But I think they're both... yeah, it's just that I think for me, for what I play, it's not really my first choice. But... you know, if you're playing different styles of music, it's great. So, yeah, if it suits what you're trying to do, go for it. I don't think there's anything to really worry about when it comes to quality or anything like that. They're a brighter guitar, too, in some ways, I've found. And Change of Strangers, welcome. Hey, Todd Steele, how are you, man? Hope you're well, and hello to everyone else. Thank you, mate. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for dropping in. All right, we've got heaps of folks here already. I'm going to try not to get too far behind the chat tonight. I'll try to get to everybody if you do have any questions or comments or whatever. So one of the things I've been thinking about doing, for those who have joined the live, not everyone obviously watches my live stream, so I'll give you a quick update. I'm going to go test out the single 12 cabinet to that Marshall JTM Studio coming up at the shop at Sky Music, and if it sounds great, I'm going to buy it. I'm actually just going to buy it because I feel like, I've got the Hagerman head over here and the Marshall JTM that's not really getting used because I don't have a dedicated cab other than the 2x12, and that 2x12 is just too much where I live right now. It's just too loud, and I don't even really want to take that 2x12 out because it's just so big. I don't want to get rid of it yet, but for the most of the times on the weekend here, there's no way I'm taking a 2x12 into a venue. So yeah, at least it's to the jam that we go to anyway. And yeah, I'm thinking about getting that and taking that to the jam. So I plan on using some more of these, amp heads out in the context of a mix. So I'm looking forward to sharing more live clips with everybody coming up as well. So stay tuned for that. That should be a bit of fun. But yeah, I'm on the fence between the JTM Studio one and I think it's the JVM one. It's very similar. It's got that vintage sort of look, but it was the prior version. So I'll just try them both. I think I like the creamback sound, so I'll probably end up with that one. But all right, we've got Mark's Gas Station, Gear Acquisition Syndrome Station. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Have I had a chance to try any of the Aria guitars that came out last year? No, I haven't seen them anywhere. I don't go to as many guitar shops anymore as I used to. I still go into them when I have an opportunity to, but no, it's a brand I haven't seen anywhere. If anyone has any insight into those, let us know. All right, we've got Simon Williams here. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. How much does that Epiphone Greenie go for in Oz? Yeah, I'm not too sure. I can have a look for you. Or you can just go to any Australian website and take a look. Actually, it's probably easier. I don't have my laptop set up in here. I'm using a tablet style thing for the live stream, so I'm not too sure. Epiphones usually, well now at least anyway, $900 to about $1,100 and up, which is crazy. You can buy obviously less expensive ones, but some of the sort of mid to high end ones will start costing more than $1,000 here, which is about $650 US. Yankee Peter says, hey Shane, hello from Detroit. Do you think that tube amps are a dying breed? I don't think they'll ever completely go away. I just think a lot of the bigger manufacturers like Fender will start making less of them over time. That's my theory on it. I think the tube scarcity might have put some pressure on the valves or tubes quality control there for a good point in a good amount of time. There's still something that I don't always trust, but the great news is there's so many like other manufacturers still making them. I don't think they'll ever completely die. And if you play live, you obviously, and if you've had an opportunity to use, say, some solid state amps or digital modeling amps or valve or tube amplifiers, there's no comparison, right? In the mix, they sound great. They all sound great at home. But digital modeling amps kind of get lost in the mix. But their advantage is you can go directly out into a desk, and they're lighter and they're less expensive. So there's a lot of things going for them as well. I think it'll still be the best tool for the job. I don't know if they'll ever completely die, because what's happening now is whether you spend $2,500 on a multi-effects digital processor pedal or $350, they all sound the same. So I don't know how a lot of people are going to be able to justify spending $2,000 or $3,000 on a digital modeling device, whereas the cheap one sounds identical. So I don't think they'll ever completely die. I think you'll see more iterations and variations of stuff like the Tone Master and from other brands at some point as well. But yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with solid state amps. By the way, I think solid state amps are the missing link. I'd be happy to still use a Peavey Bandit live. Like, those things keep up with anything. So, yeah. That's my thoughts. Let us know in the comments what you think as well. Jamal says, I feel bad for Anthony from Texas Blues Alley. He got the bug after going to NAMM. They call that NAMMThraxx, man. Everybody gets sick at NAMM. It's all the people shaking hands, coughing, and it was always like that. Everyone I know who's ever been calls it NAMMThraxx, and it's it's been going around forever. Yeah, I haven't actually caught up with his videos in the last couple of weeks, so I'll see what he's up to. I follow him on Instagram and stuff. I didn't realize he got sick. That sucks. Rusty, how you doing, man? We got a few Texans in the house tonight, or today, or this morning, whatever time it is in the rest of the world. What time is it here? It's 9:43 p.m. I was working on finishing up a editing thing I was doing before for a release this weekend. It was a big video, but I put a bit of work into it, and I had a late energy drink, and I'm like, all right, we're going live. I thought I'll be good for at least another hour before I crash, and this time, unlike last time, we have a bottle of water as well as a Pepsi Max, so we should be in business. All right. What are my thoughts about the Fender Stratocaster Vintera 2s in terms of quality and sound? You know, it's another question I had recently too, which is fine. I just, there's no lefties, so I can't comment on playing them, but they do look nice. They definitely look nice. One of the ones that really surprised me was the vintage 2s. Those American vintage 2s, is that what they're called? Those things were great. Like, it was lighter than my Stratocaster. The neck felt better. The pickups were great. I have a hard time sort of recommending much else other than the American Pro 2s, which are still great guitars, absolutely. But the vintage 2s were probably my favorite of the Strats I'd played in recent times. It felt like a custom shop guitar. It was really good. But unfortunately, yeah, the Vintera 2s aren't something that I've played because I'm a lefty, unfortunately. Hey Shane, hello to all in the chat. I've noticed that the Gibson Falcon is getting a lot of negativity. Yeah, that's the amplifier, right? Is that what you're talking about? I did watch some videos on that. You know, there's a lot of people that say, oh, you know, why don't you just open the amplifiers up when you do the demo? It's not always that simple. Not everyone has the capability to know what to look for and to do it and not ruin things too. So, yeah, I don't know exactly. I think that was the amplifier where they mounted the valves in, or tubes in sort of sideways, right? It was something weird sort of setup. But yeah, I'm yet to try one of those. I don't know if any of the shops locally will have them, but if I have a chance to give one a shot, I will. But yeah, look, I don't know. Everyone's complaining about something. So I always think if an amp's reliable and it sounds good, who cares, right? That's kind of how I feel about it. But it also comes down to, is the price justified? And guys like myself who aren't techs, you know, I've built a few pedals, but I'm definitely not a tech. You know, we probably can't give you the overview of it, you know, as well as someone who actually makes amplifiers. You know, it's just a different skill set. So yeah, look, I don't know. I haven't actually seen one before in person, but I did see a few videos. Again, I heard a few videos and I went, sounded okay. Nothing that made me go, oh man, I want to get out there and try one of those. But again, it's all subjective stuff. Everyone likes different things, and that's how it works. Hey, we got Shane here as well, the other Shane. Happy birthday, he says to Jamal. Absolutely. Rusty says, what guitar would I recommend for a beginner? So there's a few. The Yamaha Pacifica range is really good. As a beginner to intermediate, I've even seen pros use those, and they're like the entry-level ones. So check out my channel. If you go to the search feature, type in Yamaha Pacifica, and I think the model number is 112. Sometimes they got V's on the end, sometimes they got other letters, J's and all that kind of stuff, but basically they're all the same. That's a really hard guitar to beat. It depends where you live too. If you you may have mentioned it before, but I lose track of the chat. So there's a few other great brands as well. I mean, you can get a Squier Affinity Telecaster, which is a good choice. If you can find something like an Epiphone on the second-hand market, that's a good choice. Harley Benton is another one I'd recommend. And I'd also recommend artist guitars if you're in Australia. I think price to performance, they're hard to beat. Harley Benton and artist guitars are very similar in terms of their quality and what they offer at a really good price. So those would be some choices. But I think, you know, as a good all-rounder, the Yamaha Pacific is a pretty great. And it also depends on your budget. So I've given you a few there to have a look at, and you can sort of check out what works best for what price you're after. But it comes down to what kind of style of music you want to play too. So it's always good to have a bit more information. So feel free to continue the chat, and I'll check it out. All right, we got Milo. Is it Milo or Milo? Milo from Ireland. Welcome. All right. Hitting that right. Peter Hall says, I thought the NAMM coverage was pretty unoriginal. All of the guitar channels need to work out a more original way to cover it. Yeah, I agree. Look, I used to only ever really watch the Tone King's videos when he went to the guitar shows, because his stuff was the best. He'd actually interview people without making it about him. A lot of the YouTubers are like, oh, look at me, I'm in the shot, you know, and they'll just crash into other people's videos and you're right, they'll do the same stuff, or they make it about themselves, which I don't know, man. It's the way that it goes. So you're right. I think, yeah, it's probably part of the reason I tuned out from NAMM for quite a while. I just haven't watched a lot of videos from anyone else's channels for a long time. And like I mentioned earlier, I do follow a lot of folks on Instagram, and that's usually enough coverage. I know Mike Bradley went. I like his stuff. I haven't seen if he's posted any videos on his YouTube channel, but I've seen a lot of stuff go up on the on the Instagram feed, I should say. And I enjoy that. Instagram's good. It's sort of like either short clips, and you know, all the companies that I actually support on my channel doing like pedal videos like VS Audio and all that, I follow all of them, so I get to see their updates. I sort of find that more interesting than like all the other sort of crap that goes on there. So yeah, I'm more into what are those guys posting? What photos are they posting? Who's showing up? You know, that kind of stuff. I don't need to see hours and hours of NAMM coverage. It doesn't really interest me at all. I'd rather be practicing. So yeah. Raphael says, hey man, I recently got into guitars and got in touch with Cobain guitars here in the UK. I bought a built already ES335 with a quilted maple top veneer in blue. Very cool. And an LP with a, I don't know what spalted top is. I don't know what that is, but that sounds great, man. Very cool. Very nice. I'll have to look into that brand. I'm unfamiliar with them. There's a million guitar brands I don't know much about, and that's one of them. Any advice on how to upgrade a Squier Jaguar to a Cobain style guitar? You know, the biggest tonal difference will come from the pickups. I think that will be the number one thing. Find out what pickups they use in that guitar and start there. I'd also change the electronics. So replace the sort of cheap, you know, crappy pots they use in some of those guitars. They're not all bad, but they might work okay, but they're not good pots. There's probably a few other things like high pass filters and the quality of the switches and all that. Those are things that won't affect the tone as much as, say, something like as the pickups, but it's definitely worth looking into. Oh, sorry. Oh, cool. I just had a message come through. Sorry, I thought it might have been about the stream here. Shane says he bought a new X Mighty amp this week. Awesome, man. They're awesome amplifiers. Well done. Have I tried any of the Earnie Ball Musicman guitars? Yes, I have. I've tried two very long time ago. I was about to say no, but I have. So my first trip to Jerry's Lefty Guitars, maybe 10 years ago or so, somewhere around there, maybe 11 now. I got to try two. I got to try the Axis, which was pretty cool, and another model which I can't remember. But again, these are old videos now. Their production's very different. The playing's very different. But if you go to my channel, just type in Musicman, you'll find them. There's at least two that I can remember, and they were great guitars, nice and light, very ergonomic. They, you know, I think the problem we have with Musicman guitars, at least in where I live, and I know in other countries too, if you don't love it, they're really hard to sell. So if you can buy one used, you'll generally get a really good deal. I kind of don't recommend buying them new unless you absolutely love it and you have no plans on getting rid of it. That's kind of what I would recommend, because yeah, if you're on the fence or you don't love it, and you don't want to keep it long term, you've blown your dough. They're really hard to resell. I really didn't pay much attention to the NAMM spam this year. Nothing really interested me to look at lately. It's a good place to be, I reckon. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously it's different creating content around guitar, but I'm more interested in, I wait for Sundays. I'm looking forward to having a play with friends at a jam. Like last Sunday night was, or afternoon, it's an afternoon jam. It was so good. I've actually filmed it as well. I've got to put some footage together, but yeah, man, it's a good place to be. It means you're sort of focused on other stuff. You know, you might be playing more, practicing more. You know, might be happy with your gear. At the end of the day, it comes down to these guys here, or these guys if you're right-handed, and knowing how to get your sound and the playing at the end of the day. So, you know, whether you're playing a $500 guitar or a $10,000 guitar, there shouldn't be that much of a difference in the end result once you know how to get your sound and dial it in. And practice makes the best tonal improvements in the world. Yeah, I put in a lot of practice right before I took some time off. And when I came back, I think in about 2 days, I was back to feeling how I did before. Maybe not quite, but very close to. I was practicing like 4 or 5 days a week at one point, and it made a massive difference to how easy what I could do was, and also starting to hear things and ideas in my head and becoming loose playing again, which is something I kind of always strive for. I hate to do this on the stream here, but I'm just getting hit with a text. I'll just quickly reply. All right, cool. Sorry about that. Family. All right. Yeah, so, you know, being someone who is into, yeah, the gear can be a definite distraction. It can be like that with any hobby you have. You always, yeah, so just enjoy the music. And I've been really enjoying Gabe Stillman's music on YouTube. He's been posting some killer stuff, and it's like very inspiring, very much how when I found Chris Kane or Sean Costello and a few of these other guys, I was really inspired to play. And, you know, I shared a clip on my feed last night on YouTube, and it was so good. So if you missed it, go check out Gabe Stillman. His stuff is fantastic. All right, so I have a big select. Cobain Guitars has a big selection of left-handed guitars that fix the issue of lack of color variety. Very cool. Oh yeah, I'll check them out, man. That's awesome. There's a few lefties in here as well. Shane says, I don't know if I can get too many guitars this year. Wife is angry. So I finally was able to move one today, which was great. One of the Patreon crew grabbed one of my Harley Bentons, so I'm at least one guitar down now. There was one that was still boxed since before moving here. So yeah, I'm going to hopefully move a few more in the next month or so, because this month would be great, just because, yeah, there's stuff I'm definitely not playing. Oh, Epiphone Greenie is about 2,700 in Oz. Okay, I didn't know that. I haven't actually seen the price of them. It's a guitar I'm not... Sometimes when they don't make lefties, I'm a little oblivious to stuff. So, okay, $2,700. Wow. I know from their standard models, you can look at around 12 to, you know, they can be up to about $1,200 for like a 60s one or whatever, but... Yeah, wow, they're really pushing the price up on that one. I've gone from Rick Beato to Veritasium to Mary Spender tonight to Shane's live stream. Very cool, mate. Started as Marty's video with Tim Pierce ended. Very cool. Thank you, mate. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, they're all massive channels. I think that Veritasium guy did he live in Australia at one point? His accent's bizarre, man. Cool videos too. I like what that guy does. It's super cool. All right. The cool thing for that Les Paul is an example of 2-piece mahogany body and ebony fretboard. Very cool. Wow, it's 4:44 in Texas. What's going on, guys? How are you awake? How is that even possible? What day is it over there? It's a Thursday morning, right? That's insane. Oh, thanks, Jamal. He says, don't forget to hit the like. Thank you. All that stuff helps too, guys. If you see a video and you want to support the show. It sort of reaches more people the more thumbs up we get. It really does help. If it's any good, of course. If it sucks, leave a thumbs down. All right. Noted rock historian says, I have an Ampeg Dan Armstrong original. Have you had any experience with these? I have not. That's another one I'm stumped with tonight. I have no concept of what that one is. Well, no experience, I should say. Sorry, it makes some sense at some point. Yeah, every time I do this, I'm like, yeah, I'll bring my laptop in next time, and I keep forgetting. So I'm going to mount one to the table this week so I don't forget for next time. All right, we got GoldTopRob's here. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Manuel, welcome. Oh, Sire and Jet for beginners, both great guitars. Yeah, I haven't really played Sire guitars, but I've played Jet guitars. They're quite good. I've played a few of them now. 3 different lefties. 2 were the same model and 1 was a different model, but different colors, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. There's some good recommendations as well. I think the Sire guitars are probably going to be out of most people's price range, though. I could be wrong. Like for straight up beginners, I think they're a little bit more expensive, more expensive. All right, wish I could have done more guitar shopping when I went to Oz. You were there for a very short amount of time from what I saw, man. So, yeah, it was probably a bit tough. And where you were, too, I think up near Cairns, there might not have been a lot of options. You got to get to Melbourne or Sydney. I mean, it feels like there's 30 music shops in Melbourne. I could be wrong with the number, but there's definitely a lot of them here. I know Sydney's got a lot of great ones as well. A few recently did close in Sydney, and also in Melbourne there's a few that have shut down because the management changed or whatever. So that's fair enough. I think one of the big shops here closed one of their 2 shops just for convenience, I think. So yeah, stuff shuts, but things also open. There's plenty of guitar shops. There's another good point here. Randall says, I got a Cort Sunset 2 with Tiva Jones pickups. Cort's another great brand, especially if you're looking for an acoustic guitar. I think their acoustics are fantastic, but they also make like a PRS style electric guitar, which is another great guitar for a beginner. That thing absolutely kicks ass. Clone of the expensive Tiva Jones guitars. You need to check one of them out on the channel. Yeah, I'm looking into it. I want to get... I've asked Ben to help out with some videos. We're both going to be in some videos coming up. I need to work out some of the back end on that before we do it, because there's a few things I need to set up ahead of time before we can film. But yeah, it'll open up an opportunity for a great player and a cool guy to test out some right-handed guitars, because there's so much I'm unavailable or unable to test. And nearly every other week I get an email from a company saying, hey, do you want to check out this guitar? I'm like, I'm left-handed. Oh yeah, we'll get back to you, kind of thing. So there's that. I definitely want to have Ben contribute more for some of that right-handed content coming up. So all right, came in mid-sentence. We discussed the mad price for the Gibson Falcons in the US, $4,000. Wow. All the new Gibson stuff is ridiculous. I was having this... I had a guy drop off a guitar yesterday here, actually, just for a review that'll come up probably in a month or 2. Because it's sort of... I can't tell you what it is, but I was having that exact same conversation. Like, who like, them... Other brands are guilty of this too. The prices are just... putting people out of the market. Like, they might have sold less guitars after COVID, so they jacked the price up, and like, who's buying all this stuff? It's crazy. So yeah, that's the thing, man. Like, you used to be able to get good deals on the used market. Now the price of new guitars is so expensive, everything compensates, so you're paying way more than you should for even second-hand guitars these days. It's kind of crazy. All right, Al says, morning guys from the UK. Great to see you on a live stream at the GMT friendly time. Very cool. That's great. Some mornings I want to do a live stream and I end up having to film, and I always try to mix up the times of the live streams, but I have a feeling this is very similar to the last time I did one. It's actually a pretty good time of the day. It's a lot more quiet outside than it would be during the daytime here, so it's probably a good time on this side. But yeah, depends on depends what's gone into the day. Will depend on also how sort of coherent I am when I'm trying to do this. Thank you, Nathan. He says, I don't have a question. I just wanted to say one of my favorite YouTubers in the guitar community. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. See, I can't talk sometimes. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still shocked the channel is alive and kicking on all this time later. It'd be 10 years in April since I left my day job to do this full time. And then I took a few short contract jobs for 3, 6, or 8 weeks in between that from time to time to accumulate some funds, and then I managed to work it out. So yeah, it's crazy, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's been a long, hard slog, and it's been great. It's opened up a lot of opportunities, and yeah, it's just I guess it's a bit of a shame in one sense that some of the other long-term YouTubers don't really do a lot of collaboration stuff unless I ask them to. So it'd be great to have a bit more interaction with a few of the guys. I've switched off from a lot of YouTube channels. I found, yeah, they went from making content I really enjoyed to disposable crap. So I've always stuck to my guns. I'm like, I might not be doing as much sort of like clickbaity sort of just short rubbish videos, but I just wanted to keep the quality up and keep moving forward and work into those standards. And I think it's helped me long term in some ways. So thank you, mate. I appreciate the kind words. Hey, GRB Aquatics. Welcome, mate. Really enjoyed the Mark Knopfler guitar auction last night. Super interesting, even exciting at times. I missed that. I did see that it was, I think, was it Mike Bradley he might have posted something on his feed, or he posted a picture somewhere. Anyway, I'll need to rewatch that. I did see the videos go up about that ahead of time, but I haven't actually seen the auction itself. Guitar Journey says, do you have any other hobbies except music? I enjoy going to the gym. Me too. I go to the gym. I haven't been training as much lately because I tore my tendon in my forearm, which made playing guitar really tough, and it also made doing anything tough for a while. But yeah, I trained pretty hard up until, I guess, I definitely lost some size, but I put on a good amount of size. You look at my old videos and then look now, I have changed my physique a bit, but I've definitely lost a bit not being able to do a lot of that. But actually, I really love traveling. I love camera equipment as well. Like, one of my big things is camera and tech. I'm right into it. So yeah, I'm as into videography and photography as I am into guitar these days. I still love guitar in a different way. It's something that I'll never let go of. I just love it. But my love for, filming stuff and traveling and, just all that kind of thing is a big part of what I enjoy as well. So they're kind of like the most, they're the things I get the most enjoyment out of. I love it. Absolutely. Yeah, I think the gym's a good counterbalance to guitar, man. I mean, all you have to do is, go to a gig or go to wherever. And there's not a lot of fit musicians out there. There is some. I'm not saying I'm fit, by the way. I'm just saying that the general stereotype for musicians is they're not overly into health or fitness. And yeah, I think it's a great thing to have at any age. It doesn't matter. Just get out there and do it. I'm slowly getting back into it after a good couple of months off training properly because I couldn't lift anything. My forearm was wrecked. And I love it. And I'm going tomorrow morning. All right, Marco says, only 2 likes. Come on, people, let's get it to 50. Hey, there we go. Let's get it to 50. That's awesome. I don't know how many people are watching. I don't even know if I can see that on here, but if anyone knows how many people are actually here, that would be super cool. I might pick up the Harley Benton purple PRS model in a lefty. Great. I mean, those guitars are great. I remember I had the Custom 24 equivalent in the Harley Benton. That thing was a fantastic guitar. I can't remember what the biggest difference was. I think it was a little bit heavier than the PRS. And I think Was it the finish on the neck or something was different? There wasn't a lot in it. Possibly the bridge tension, which can be adjusted, but yeah, great guitar. Jamal says, just starting his day, works until 9 p.m. Oh, wow, okay, far out. That's an early morning, man. 5 in the morning now? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Shane is into cameras and horror films. Damn straight, I love my horror movies. So behind me up here is a creature from the Black Lagoon pinball machine back glass, which I love pinball machines as well. That's another thing I've always been a big fan of. And gaming to some extent. I used to be more into it than I am now, but yeah, I find it's just too time consuming. But yeah, I love the old 70s and 80s horrors. They're usually my favorites. There's some exceptions to that, but I got the Lucio Fulci zombie mask back here, which is one of my favorites. I nearly bought another one the other day. I was looking at it, man, the shipping was too expensive, but they make a second zombie mask from the same movie, which was the unofficial sequel to Dawn of the Dead. And I featured that in my first like YouTube Halloween special thing I did with Rhiannon, and it was great. It just, you know, I think one of the only channels with a floating head in the background, but there's a lamp on the opposite side back here, that little lightning bolt one. I want to put the other mask over that at some point. If I see it when the shipping price drops, I'll buy it. Yeah, I love those old movies. It's super cool. Hey, Guitar Journey, welcome, man. Very cool. Thanks for joining in. What's my opinion on Earnie Ball guitars? So I kind of summed that up just before. I was just saying I think they're really quality guitars, but you know, if you don't love it, you've blown your dough. They're really hard to sell. But you know, the Musicman stuff's great. Like quality-wise, I think they're probably better than a lot of the other models around the same price before you start paying the big bucks. But yeah, it's just the unfortunate fact of trying to resell it. You have blown your dough. You won't get anywhere near what you want for it once you try to resell it. Doesn't mean they're great, but yeah, you got to keep that in mind. And as I said earlier, if you're thinking about buying one, check the used market. I would buy one used before I buy one new. There'd be a lot of people who are just intrigued by them, will buy them and realize they like Fender guitars more or whatever, and they'll flip them and you watch the price drop. So yeah, you can get yourself a good deal on those. A friend of mine tried selling one of his for a long time. He couldn't do it, and now he's just given up. So he's still got a great guitar. Like the tremolo system is awesome, and they also have basically like an active noise cancelling system for their single coil guitars. So you can pretty much rock out with high gain and not get any buzz. It's pretty cool. But yeah, look, it all comes down to, you know, what you like the most too, because I play guitars now that I would never have thought would play in, you know, 10 years ago or whatever. So yeah, a lot of my favorite guitars are ones you can't find in music shops, which is kind of crazy. Well, you can, but they're very, you know, a lot less common. So yeah, just find the right one for the job. And I think, you know, you got to just trust your instincts. And there's also a journey of finding what you like. And if you haven't been through that sort of rabbit hole of working out what things you like and what you don't like, you know, sometimes you find a gem and other times you don't. You've just got to go through that as well. I've been there. I've probably purchased 30 guitars, maybe 30 amps, maybe a lot more. Yeah, my amp collection over the years, I probably had at least 30. Like, I'm talking about like ones I've purchased, like not stuff that's just come into the channel. Like I would have easily purchased 30 amps to find kind of what works for me in the gigs and the recording and the, you know, all that kind of stuff. Hey, there we go. Guitar Journey says, nice. I'm the same way. I'm doing a bit of photography on the side. Awesome stuff. That's super cool. Yeah, it's a good hobby to have. Gets me out of the house too. Yeah, while I'm more of a video guy than I am anything photographer, I'm getting out and I'm shooting more photos now too. So yeah, it's been fun. Usually my photography is limited to landscapes or product photography, which I do when I'm in the studio here. But yeah, it's great. I love it. GRB Aquatic says, recently finally picked up a Peavey Bandit 112 or 112 Red Stripe for a bargain price. Man, what an awesome amp. They're unreal, huh? I saw one on my local bulletin board thing here, and I sent a message to the guy, and he said it's just sold. And I forgot to take the listing down. I was like, I would have got another one. They're so good. Those red stripe Bandits are fantastic. I'm actually working on a video regarding the Bandits, so hang in there. It's something that I have to put a lot of information into, and I'm probably 60 or 75% of the way through it, and then I'll do it. So stay tuned. There's going to be another Bandit video on the way very soon. But yeah, great amps, man. It's just those red stripe ones are so good, and they're bulletproof. They're so bulletproof. I just have a quick drink. All right. Bumble says, I have a hot rod. Oh, the chat just moved. I have a hot rod deluxe. I'm looking at getting an extension cab. Let's try that again. I have a hot rod deluxe and looking at getting an extension cabinet. I wondered what to expect when adding an extension cab. Any thoughts or considerations? So, yeah, I used to run an extension cab with my hot rod deluxe at one point. It's pretty cool. If you get a long enough speaker cable, you can kind of run it in a different position. I don't think it's worth it if you're just going to be sitting it on top of it. But if you're in a trio and you're running them almost like one, where your amp is and then the other one away or the opposite side of the stage, it sounds unreal. Just running it like a stack, you kind of don't need it. I really don't think it really adds that much. And I would also be reluctant to buy maybe one that's got a closed back. I find that, that's what they sell. That's what Fender sells as an official extension cab. But get an open back one if you can. I think it's just a better spread of sound on the stage, a bit more balanced. And less chance of anything rattling inside or vibrating the wood on the back of the speaker. So, yeah. That would be what I would look for, even if that means I would get something a similar size just for visual sake, but yeah, open back cab if you can, of any brand. The Sire S3 is about the same price as a Pacifica 112V. Oh, there you go. Okay, I didn't know that. Very cool. So there you go. We were talking about affordable guitars earlier. Peter Hall just mentioned that. That's good information. I think that'll also depend on where you live too. I'm yet to see those guitars in any local shop that I've been into, but I hope I can get my hands on the Sire ones at some point. Oh, here we go. Chopper says only one shop selling new guitars left in Hobart, but 3 used guitar shops. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, nothing wrong. Yeah, well, I guess it depends what you're looking for too, but in terms of electric guitars, man, you can get such great stuff at those used guitar shops. It's actually more fun for me to go into than a lot of the time than just new guitar stores, because those kind of buy, swap, sell, trade, all those kind of stores generally will have a lot more interesting stuff, and you can go in there and find stuff that just isn't what you expect. You're like, oh man, I've been looking for one of those for a long time. Or there's actually an amp I used to own that I saw pop up online in one of those kind of stores here in Melbourne, and I was like, and it looks in mint condition too, and I was like, man, there's just no chance of seeing that anywhere else, and all those other guitar shops that all sell the same new gear. So yeah, there's pros and cons of both, I guess, but yeah, I absolutely love going out and checking those shops that have used gear. It's a lot of fun. I'm trying to encourage Sky Music to do it, because I feel like they could have just an epic used guitar section or amp section or whatever. Maybe just guitars, but be awesome, man. It'd be super cool. All right. Am I still loving the DSL 40CR? Absolutely. It's right there. It's one amp I want to use more this year out, and I haven't done it yet. It's only February the 1st here, though, so I've still got plenty of time. But, yeah, the DSL, man, it's pretty damn cool. It's the pedalless. It's probably my only pedalless amplifier. Yeah, I could get away with the Artist Tweet Tone as well without any pedals, but the DSL, man, it's brutally cool. Brutally loud, but awesome. And, yeah, I've got my Texas Heat speaker in mind, so it sounds quite a bit different to the stock Celestion V-Type. It gives you sort of a fatter low end and mid-tone and rolls out some of that ice pick high. But it's a great amp, man. I dig it. Todd says he gets down watching NAMM, never get any lefties. I'd love to try Vintera, maybe a lefty Silver Sky. Man, you know, I don't often use Twitter, but I was on there and I saw PRS post a question about guitars. I said, how about any new lefty? That was my response. They're like, what would you prefer, this or that? Like, any new left-handed guitar. Like, just anything would be good. I have no idea why these guitar companies, they make one model and that's it. Like, once all the lefties have that model, they're not going to go buy another one. Like, release something different. If he released a lefty in the Silver Sky, I'd probably buy one as well, or I'd be keen to try it at least. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, inflation is everywhere. Still feeling the effects of the pandemic. I think, most countries are, man. Like, all the interest rates have gone up everywhere. Like, I follow a lot of real estate stuff online and in the US, in Florida and here, and it's, you know, all that stuff is hitting everybody. No questions about it. You know, I was shocked. Last trip over to Florida, when we did all those Guitar Search Saturdays, the price of everything was so much more expensive than the trip before. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? This is almost like as expensive as where I live now. So, and it was always like half the price for everything. So, yeah, it's crazy. Oh, here we go. This is interesting. I don't know. Ozhood Guitar says, it looks like Gibson has just discontinued all their budget guitars, tributes, studios, etc. Maybe they're focusing more on the high-end stuff only. Well, that's disappointing. I mean, they're going to lose a huge part of their audience. You know, Fenders, if it's not blatantly obvious what Fender do, they price a guitar at every price on the spectrum. Or maybe they're just looking to sell more Epiphones at different prices, so that maybe they're filling that space up with overly inflated Epiphone guitars like that one we were talking about earlier, the Greenie. So I don't know exactly what the theory is behind that, but that's a stupid move. Man, this is all the more reason to go buy something else. You know, like, there's so many better guitars than Gibson and Fender and all these other ones out there. I mean, they're the iconic ones in the industry and all that, but once you've played a few other brands, you'll go, oh, what am I missing out on again? You know, that said, I do love my Fender guitars, but I don't think that they're the best guitars I've ever played. I think there's much better guitars than them out there. And in terms of quality control and all that kind of stuff, they're great, but yeah, there's no way I would buy a Fender Custom Shop electric now, given the price. I think they're 7,000 Australian dollars. For that price, I could buy a Nick Huber guitar, which is infinitely better. I wouldn't be doing that anyway, but yeah, there's so many. Even Nash guitars are great. I don't know if you've played those, but I tested those years ago, and they're really nice. Yeah. Guitar Journey says, what other types of music do you guys listen to except blues? I like a bit of jazz, classical every now and then. I listen to almost everything. I like synthwave, believe it or not. That's completely different. That's all like modern 80s sort of represent, you know, like, what do you call it? Like retro style 80s music. It's all kind of keyboards and synths and all that kind of stuff. I don't mind that, actually. It's pretty cool, but I listen to almost everything from like Rob Zombie to Jamiroquai to James Brown to, you know, old 60s rock and roll stuff, man. I like it all. So, yeah, but when it comes to stuff I actually want to play, blues is still probably the number one influence for me. Like, it makes the most sense for what my ear tells me to want to play. I can't play a lot of that other stuff, but yeah, I'll listen to just about everything. I don't mind jazz too, man. I got some Miles Davis stuff. I've got bloody, you know, the Dr. John stuff I really like too, the New Orleans kind of music. I love that. I mean, he's one of my favorites of all time. So yeah, nothing wrong with, you know, another band I'm going to put in here as well, which I used to binge listen to, is Mofro. If you don't know JJ Gray and Mofro, go check him out. It's just a great band. Super cool. When it comes to lefties asking PRS to take... PRS is asking for an extremely weird and condescending response. Yeah, 100%. Oh, there you go. So, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, man. Oh, Kale. Is that how you pronounce it? Look, you got the MMA guy's picture there. Maybe it's you. I don't know. He says, I got the Harley Benton DC Fat after watching your video. I needed that high fret axis. It's a great guitar for that. Awesome stuff. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. Hey, GoldTopRob. Thanks, man. thanks for that. Well, I'll tell you what. One thing I've said this on last live stream, and I'll reiterate this again. You know, one thing I sometimes forget is the community side of this channel. No, I always try to reply to people in the comments on the new videos. I see my feed 10 times a day, and I try to reply to everybody. But this is cool. This allows me to, you know, chat and interact with you guys more, and it's something I want to do more this year. So thank you, mate. So the only change is more live streams coming up in 2024, but not all the time at the same time and date. It'll be sometime within the same 10-day period at a different time of the day. So thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I remember seeing something like that too, Todd. He's talking about bagging lefties. Doesn't matter, man. It's if he doesn't want to sell guitars, he doesn't have to. It's a shame. It really is a shame. I mean, nearly... Yeah, it's short-sighted because, you know, unlike the old days where everyone had to learn things right-handed, it doesn't happen anymore. Like, there's more lefties every 10 years than prior from what I saw in this was stats a while ago now, but I remember saying like there's more people that are dominant in their left hand than ever. So, yeah, there's definitely an opportunity for somebody to... You know, the people are already taking advantage of that. There's plenty of left-handed guitar shops around the world, but yeah, it's a real kick in the guts, man, for the 10% of people that could be buying, or maybe more now, you know, buying lefties. So, whoo, thank you, mate. I appreciate that, Keith. Thank you, mate. He says, thanks for the super chat. He says, favorite American Strat. What's the neck like? So the one I've got is a American, it's weird. It doesn't come up with the comment in the thing here. So sorry, I clicked it like everyone else's. Let's just have a look. Yeah, it doesn't bring it up on the super chat thing for some reason. But the question is, favorite American Strat, what's the neck like? So I got a weird answer to this because one of the best necks I've ever played is on custom shop guitars. But it's not necessarily a shape as it is a feel. The Relic necks, I call them fast necks. There's no tension on it. It just feels amazing to play. Now, the reason I bought my Fender American original 50s Strat was for the soft V-neck. It was really comfortable, and I think that's definitely one of my favorite shapes. I used to think that the bigger the neck, the better. But there's more factors in it now. I don't really necessarily just have to stick to buying a guitar with a certain type of neck. This is another thing that has evolved over the years. Some guitars with wide, thin necks feel better than great, big, fat necks that I thought were instantly or always a better choice. So I would say the soft V-neck's a really good choice, but I would also say anything that isn't super high gloss when it comes from Fender. The American Pro 2s are awesome. They got the rolled fretboard edges, and those things play themselves. They're a really hard guitar to beat. You know, the American Vintage 2 Strats were also very good. They had less stick than mine, but it was a different feel. So there's not one answer, but I think the thing to take away from it is not a super high gloss neck, and get something that has either a satin or a relic neck, and I think most people will be happy with that. Yeah, the shape thing is dependent on your hand size to some extent, or to more extent as well. So, yeah, I know that's a bit of a weird answer. It's not like this is the best guitar by far. You know, there's a Telecaster I recently played. That thing was arguably the best Fender guitar I've ever played. I reviewed it in December. That thing was so good if you're like into Telecasters. It was the Journeyman Relic. It had a huge name. It was like 15 letters, but that thing was so good. That neck would be on par with any of the best necks that I've ever played from any guitar ever. So that's the one thing about Relic guitars I love. I don't love the price, but those necks feel amazing. But yeah, try a soft V-neck or try the American Pro 2s. I think the American Pro 2 neck will be one that will suit a lot of people. I love it. I could use it as my main guitar. Just really cool guitars. Hey, Guitar Journey says, I love both classic horror and newer horror movies. I do too. I just don't love the jump scare fad. Like the pointless jump scare fads. There was a lot of that with the new horror movies, but there's also some great ones that come out too. So yeah, that's super cool. Hey, Todd, thank you, man. Far out. I know you can't see this on screen, but he says, looking forward to the new Guitar Search Saturday. Thank you, mate. I had one more video to finish, which I did this morning and finished it like 3 hours ago. And then I'm going to put that all together. So that'll be up hopefully by next weekend. It won't be up for tomorrow, unfortunately. But yeah, it'll be up for next weekend, all being well. But I'll schedule that ahead of time so everyone knows I'll do a live premiere. But thank you for the support, mate. That's awesome. Thanks, guys, for the super chat. Keith as well. I do appreciate it. And thanks for the support over the years too, guys. Scott, how you doing, man? He says, how's the new house? Like, this house is so... Look, I'm in a t-shirt. That's the one great thing about it. You know, this house is actually pretty cool. It just gets a lot of noise. They closed down some sort of major roads around here, so we're getting a lot of trucks. It kind of ruins my vibe for most of the day, but yeah, it's great. Like, overall, it's been okay. I don't know. I won't be staying here long term. We're trying to work out how long. It will most likely be until maybe the start of next year now. Just might be shuffling that back a bit. There's a lot of other factors that come into moving other than just wanting to move. But this house is great. It's unfortunately one room too small. I thought it was going to work, but it's just a room too small. So we'll see how we go. But, you know, otherwise, no complaints. It's you know, it's been much better than my old place in terms of cleanliness. It's not falling apart. It's warmer. There's insulation, and it's just a much better experience. I know I'm like quite up the chat from where the end is here, so I'll just quickly scroll down here. I'll just take some random questions. GoldTopRob says, "What's your diet like?" I'm not a vegan, no. I'm trying to eat less processed food now, even though I still drink crap like this stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely not eating as much processed stuff. That was my Achilles heel there for a while. Have I tried the Line 6 Catalyst? No, but I can get my hands on one of those. I actually went to pick one up from Sky Music a while ago, and I think they were out of them in the store, unfortunately. So I can definitely review those, no problems. You know, Line 6, I think, sadly got a lot of bad publicity from people who expected more from an affordable amplifier. But interestingly enough, their new ones, I've heard them in a couple of guitar shops actually now where, you know, young kids who are shredding are playing them. They sound friggin' awesome. I was really quite shocked. You know, for what they are, I was very impressed. Have I ever played a 3D printed guitar? And if not, are you interested in trying one out? I have not tried one before. I would be keen to try that out. That definitely sounds cool. Hey, Serious Amplification. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining in. That's super cool. Let us know if there's anything new on the horizon for, you know, what you're working on at the moment. If you missed the Serious Amp review videos, guys, go check them out. I did them, I think, in December of last year, or maybe November. Just unbelievable. The tones and everything. So if you like a Soldano style amp, he makes an absolute beast that's improved upon it. And they're all made in Melbourne here in Australia. So yeah, super cool. Yeah, see, Jim says he just plays right-handed guitars restrung like Jimi Hendrix. So that can work if you're used to doing that. I know Jamal does that with a few guitars too. But I've always had the problem of my forearm turning the volume and tone controls up and down. I don't know if it's just because of my height or my position playing guitar. I just can't. I can't play most guitars upside down because of that. Like any type of Strat or Telecaster, I'm forever rolling the volume controls up and down with my forearm. So, yeah, unfortunately that's oh, sorry. Where's the... Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, I have to turn that off. There we go. Yeah, I have never gotten used to it. Apparently, rentals are up 66% in Western Australia. Wow, far out. Man, I love Western Australia. It's such a nice place, man. Perth is just... It's like Melbourne was 30 years ago. And in a good way, it's great. All right. I love my vintage Kramer and Washburn. If I'm going to spend big bucks, I'll buy a Suhr or Andersen. I mean, both of those guitars are fantastic. See, this is the thing, right? Like, I was one of those guys that dismissed a lot of other brands because I was such a Fender fanboy back in the day, but I'm not anymore. I reckon they're both better than most of what Fender are making. So, yeah, Suhr and the Andersen stuff are fantastic. Here we go. Here's another great guitar. Darren says he just bought an Eastman T486B. It's the best guitar I've ever played. There you go. You know, I played 2 killer or maybe 3 killer Eastman guitars when I was at Jerry's. Those things were so good. I couldn't believe how good they were. Marco says, totally agree that guitars are a journey. You have to try so much stuff as possible to see what you like. I'm just rediscovering Strats. I love them for all the different tonal possibilities. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's fantastic. And it's true because you hear, you know, sounds inspire you at different times. Like, for those who know, I didn't have a Strat for a long time. I'd had Strats over the years on the YouTube channel and, you know, doing gigs, but I never kept them. I always ended up just going back to my Telecasters. But now I've kind of found a Strat I love, and having those lace sensor pickups in there, I'm wrapped with it. Like, it's the sound I've been looking for, and it feels great. And in terms of Strats, that's all I really need. So it's fantastic. So that's it. That's how that works. You kind of go on that journey, find the sound that you like, and keep inspired because, you know, interestingly enough, I'll show you. I've just been playing this again, the Tokai Love Rock. I might take this out this weekend because it feels so good to play. One thing that people don't think about is if you adjust for inflation, many of the legacy brands cost the same or even less than before. Yeah, you might be right about that. I think that's probably true to some extent. It's just that when, you know, one year they're one price and then they go up a few $100 the next year, it makes you sort of scratch your head. But I think you're probably right as a general rule. I would say that's probably close to accurate. I don't know enough about the numbers to really give you a detailed insight into any of that. Chris says, I almost bought the DSL... sorry, the chat just moved. I almost bought the DSL 40CR this week, but ended up going with a Deluxe Reverb modded with 2 10-inch Alnicos. Oh, very cool. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a 2 10-inch one. Well, it is modded, so that's why. Has 6L6 instead of the 6V6s. Hopefully, I made the right choice. So to me, that kind of sounds like a Vibroverb. They kind of do that thing, I think, the 6L6s and the 210s, which is a great amplifier. So I'd be really interested to hear something about that. Like if you can, I don't know if you post clips on YouTube or whatever, but that would be a very interesting thing to hear. All right, GW Taylor says, morning from Scotland. PMT here in UK introduced their own antiquity brand last year. I got their SG style model for Christmas, sorry. Thicker body than the 50s type neck, but amazing quality. Okay, cool. Another guitar brand I am completely unfamiliar with, so I apologize, but sounds good. What's the best distortion or cheap distortion effects? Get anything from like Kalen or Joyo or, you know, even Donna make good stuff, even though I don't like the ethics of how they do stuff in terms of stealing other people's content and turning them into commercials for themselves. They make good quality stuff. So, yeah, you know, you can get something like the... What was the one that I tried a little while ago? It was like a rat pedal, but it was, I can't remember the name of it. Someone might be able to help me here. But yeah, check out my Kalen review videos. I mean, I did a couple of videos where I did them back to back, like all the different effects in the range, or a lot of them, and those are probably the best inexpensive guitar effects pedals that I can think of. Yeah. There's plenty of good ones out there, and yeah, they're basically like between what, 49 and 70 US dollars, somewhere around there. So hopefully that will work. But yeah, you can't go too wrong with some of the classics, man, like the Joyo stuff. It's great. I don't know exactly what kind of sound you're looking for, because some people say distortion, they mean overdrive. Sometimes they mean something else. So yeah. Hey, we've got Brother Hawk here from Thailand. How you doing? Thanks for joining in. All right, we're going to probably just take a few more questions here, and then I'll wrap it up. I want to timestamp this afterwards as well. I'd like to try some Sire guitars, S3 or S7, now S5, but they don't seem to be carried in Western Australia. They look like they have great features. Yeah, I haven't seen them either, so hopefully I can find them somewhere and give everyone my thoughts on them at some point. We got I'm Not Creative from the Netherlands. Very cool. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Oh, sorry. Hopefully we're still live. My camera just disappeared from the sources here. Hopefully it's all good now. Yeah, how many times? Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong one. Dougal says, how many times will the filmmakers use the cat jump scare? Yeah, I was in like every 80s horror movie ever. It's still probably getting used today. Yeah, Peter Rich says, Dr. John, right time, wrong place. Great song, great solo. Man, yeah, I tell you what, if you haven't heard his tribute to Duke Ellington either, go check it out. It's called Duke Elegant, and it's got some of the funkiest grooves. Man, and the album with Creole Moon on it, and oh geez, it's got some great stuff. Just great stuff. All right, Keith says, thanks Shane, definitely looking for, then go for the American Pro 2. I mean, that thing feels really great. You know, it feels like you've been playing them for a long time, which can't be said for a lot of guitars. Sometimes they just don't feel, they feel too sort of like unused. I don't know how else to say it. You pick up an American Pro 2, it feels like a guitar someone's been using for a long time. It's really cool. I just hope Fender start using stainless steel frets, man. It kills me. Like, get with the times. And it doesn't affect everybody, but if you're someone who really likes to, you know, dig in and bend hard and do all that kind of stuff, you can burn through them pretty quick. Oh, there we go. So Sirius says some things are cooking. Very cool. Awesome, awesome. I'll keep an eye on your stuff. Nearly bedtime in Tassie. And again, man, if you want any more amp stuff done or whatever, just let us know. I'd be happy to help your stuff as something special. All right. So I tell you what, we may wrap this up. I'm going to timestamp this before I go to bed. If I've missed any questions, I apologize. Just leave it on the comment section of the live stream. You know, not in the live chat part here, but in the normal where you type under a video, and I'll reply as I'm doing the timestamps. It's getting late, so if I miss your question tonight, I'll get to it in the morning or whatever. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. It's been awesome. Thank you again, and I've got videos coming up on the weekend for the next 3 or 4 weeks already. I've got an unreleased pedal over here, which I can't show you, but I've actually got 2 things that are coming out very soon from that are affordable and I think pretty wild, so hang in there. I got access to some gear through Sky Music that I think you're going to get a kick out of. I was impressed, at least, anyway. So, yeah, there we go. I'll end on this one here. So Shane says he'll be jamming this Saturday. That's fantastic, mate. Well done. Get out there and play live. And if everyone isn't getting out there and playing live, learn some blues progressions and get out there. It's so much fun. I'm going to be doing it this Sunday again. So, yeah, it's a whole lot of fun. All right, guys, take care. Thank you again for all the support on the channel, and I will catch you on the next one. I'll timestamp this up, and if I spoke about a video or someone else's band, I'll add the links down in the description as well. All right, guys, take care. Now I've just got to remember how to stop this so it doesn't cut me off. All right, take care.